I want to welcome each of you here this afternoon. We're excited to be able to come into your home or wherever you're viewing our parent town hall meeting. For those that have children attended East Grand Preparatory or Buckner Preparatory. We are especially excited about many of the new families that have enrolled with us this year. My name is Leonard Brannon. I'm one of the co-founders and the CEO and superintendent of Cityscape Schools. This next year, we are expecting around 1,400 students to show up, and so we're really excited about the new year. But I know that you have lots of questions, concerns, and things that we want to give you an opportunity to ask questions, talk to us about whatever might be on your heart. But I'd like to just take a few minutes to tell you a couple of things that are very important. I know that many of you have been just like myself and my family, been sheltering in place. You've been wearing masks. You're trying to social distance. You're doing everything to protect your family. And I know that with all that's been going on over these last few months, that many of you parents have a lot of concerns about what is best for your children. Cityscape Schools, because we felt like it'd be in our best interest and your children's best interest, we moved school forward by 3 weeks. So we're actually starting September the 8th, one day after Labor Day, and that's when we'll be reopening school for instruction. I believe Dallas County, over the last several weeks, we've been seeing a kind of a downward trend, which we are excited about. I know for about 18 weeks or so, there were about 1,000 new cases every day, and now we're down to an average of somewhere around 300 to 400 a day. And I believe that that's a positive trend, but it does not say that we're at a place where everything is okay and we need to disregard all the suggestions and things that are important to keep your family safe and to keep your students and your children safe while attending our school. We are in a situation right now where we really believe that the guidelines and all the things that we have already put together are going to not only allow you to make the best decision you can, but also to help you be able to understand the options that you have. The first thing I want to talk about is we are going to give you the option as a parents to choose between face-to-face instruction at one of our campuses or virtual at-home instruction where your children can stay at home and receive their instruction by their teachers. And depending upon the guidance of what TEA says, we're going to continue to allow you that option, but I just want to let you know there could also be a change. The Dallas County might come back with some sort of recommendations to us, or the governor, or the Texas Education Agency. But right now, we do plan to open, giving each of y'all the opportunity to either do at-home instruction or to do the instruction face-to-face at each campus. Cityscape Schools has been working really hard. We have been trying to decide what is best for you, what's best for our staff, what's best for your children. At this point, we've had over 600 plus parents that's already chosen what they prefer for their children. It's very important that you go, if you've not yet filled out the questionnaire or the survey to tell us what you want for your child. It's very important for you to go to our website at www.cityscapeschools.org and go to the news, under the news announcements area, and pick the survey and fill it out. Now, if you've already filled out this survey, please don't fill out another one. We just want you to fill that out if you have not. Now, we're also going to allow you, as we talk today, as you ask questions, you've been trying to decide what's right or wrong. You may have already sent in your choice, but we are going to give you till next Monday, August the 24th, to make a final decision. So if you decide and you change your mind and you've chosen to take face-to-face instruction, but now you decided you want your child to stay at home, then you can make that decision and make that choice up to August the 24th, which is this coming Monday. Now, they're going to be putting in the chat boxes right now in our Facebook Live, if you're watching us that way, or if you're on the YouTube channel, they're going to be putting in the chat box the link so that you can go and answer that questionnaire right now if you'd like to do that. Now, we are requiring that when you make this choice, you'll be making it for at least a 9-week period, which will be our 9-week grading period, and you must make the choice for that length of time. And then for the next 9-week grading period, if you want, you can change your mind. You'll be given an opportunity to make that change, make your choice known, and you'll be able to change that for your children. Now, we found out over these last couple of weeks or so, with all the parents that we've heard from, at this point, about 70% of our parents have chosen to have their instruction at home virtually, and about 30% of you have chosen to have face-to-face instruction at one of our campuses. But I just want to remind you, you've got to make this decision. You've got to make it by the 24th, and you've got to the 24th if you want to change your mind. But please do not turn in another survey or questionnaire if you are for sure what you want to do and you've already filled it out in the past. Now I just want to take the next few minutes and talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we've been doing. We've created 2 guidebooks that we believe will be very important for you to know. This one is called the Global Learning Community Guide. This guidebook is set up for you to be able to go and learn many of the things that we're doing to make schools safe for your children. Not only that, it is designed so that you can go and you can review what face-to-face instruction is going to be like this year, and also what the online instruction will be and how it's going to be done differently this year than it was this last spring. Our second guide that we have is the Reopening School Employee Guide. Now, this was designed and it's been given to every one of our employees. And you may say, well, why do you want me to look at this guide? I think this may be the most important one because I want you to know this is what we're expecting out of all of our employees. This is how we want to make sure it will be safe for them. And when you see all the different things that we're doing, I hope that that also make you feel that you will be able to be reassured that it will also be safe for your children. Now, I can assure you of this, that we're doing everything we can to make it safe for your children, whether you choose face-to-face instruction. And we know at home that would be the situation that where they would have a whole lot less opportunity. And I do want to say this. There's no way we can guarantee if your child comes to school face-to-face that we'll be able to keep them safe. But I guarantee you that we're doing everything to make sure we do. But I want you to know that is your decision. There's a lot of controversy right now. There's a lot of people that are going back and forth on social media and the news, maybe your friends, your neighbors, even among your family, and y'all are discussing about what is the best thing for children. Should they come back to school? Should they stay at home? Well, I believe that as their parents, you are the one most qualified to make that decision. I cannot make that decision for your family. You have to make it for your family because we believe that you know what's best for them, what's best for your children, and I believe that you'll make that decision with that in mind. Now, I also would like to talk to you about some of the things that we're going to be doing when your child does come back face-to-face before school starts. First thing I want you to know, every child, whether you choose face-to-face instruction or online instruction, every child that attends any of our campuses are going to receive either a tablet or a Chromebook. We, this year, are going one-to-one on where every student has a device from K3 all the way up through grade 8. And the K3 and K4 students, they'll be receiving tablets, which is more developmentally appropriate for them. And then from kinder and up, they'll be receiving Chromebooks. So whether your child's attending face-to-face or they're attending online instruction, they will get those. And we'll be announcing here in a little bit some more details about when that's going to happen. Also, every staff member and every student will be receiving masks. Every student will receive at least 3 reusable masks that they can use. And what is going to happen is this. When you come to school in the morning with your children and you drop them off and you pull through our car line, as your child gets out of that car, their temperature is going to be taken. They're going to have their mask on before they get out of the car. If for some reason you forget to bring their mask for that day, we will provide a temporary disposable mask for your child. But we're going to take their temperature. If your child's temperature is over 100.4 degrees, then we're going to ask that that child goes back home with you until that temperature goes down, and you'll have further instructions that will be handed to you how to deal with that. We are wanting to screen all the children to make sure that none of the children come into the school with any type of temperature over 100.4. If they pass that screening, then they will walk directly to their classroom, and when they get in their classroom, they'll take that mask off, and then they'll put on a face shield. And they'll wear that face shield for the rest of the day while they're being taught in that classroom. Also, the teachers will have a face shield so that not only will the students be wearing face shields or face masks, but teachers will also be wearing face shields. Teachers, if they choose, can also wear a face mask. We're going to give them the option to wear both if that makes them feel safer in the classroom. The other thing that we're going to do, which I think is very important, is we're going to be on every table and every desk in the classroom, in your child's classroom, there will be an acrylic plexiglass partition that's going to keep your child safe and healthy. It's a way for them to social distance in the classroom because they will have this acrylic partition separating them from the rest of the children. And so that's going to add another level. The other thing is that all of our classrooms, all of our classes at all grades are going to be eating breakfast and lunch in their classroom. Our goal is to keep your children in the classroom, not to be going from classroom to classroom or from the classroom to the gym or all the different areas that many times they may make a travel throughout the day. We want to make sure that we keep your children in a cohort so that we can control if something were to happen, we'll know where those kids have been, where your children have been, where our staff have been, and make it much easier for us to deal with that in case there was some sort of either a COVID report or something of one of our students or employees might somehow get infected with COVID. Also, all the restrooms and all the high-touch areas are going to be cleaned continuously throughout the day. What we've done is we've hired third-party vendors that are going to come in every evening, and they're going to clean every bit of each school campus. They're not only going to clean that, but they're also going to be applying what I'm calling a COVID buster machine. Literally, it is a machine that lays down in a classroom in about 2 or 3 minutes, will completely cover a classroom and disinfect it. We leave that disinfectant on those desks and on those face shields, the school supplies, the teacher's desk, the chairs, and all those things, so that when they come back the next day, that disinfectant is there, and if there was any kind of germ that was in that room, it will be destroyed. Now, we've used those over the last several years during the high season for flu, because we know that just like everyone else, and you know as a parent, that during the flu season, sometimes the kids come to school, they've got the flu, they don't know it, and your child might also come down with that. So we've been using these type of devices for some time, and we feel like it gives us the best defense to help protect you and your children. Now we want to take a few minutes and begin to open up for questions. We want you to know that we want to hear from you. We've been doing this now, I think this is our 3rd week, and we'll be doing it next Wednesday at the same time, 2 o'clock for our English Facebook Live and our YouTube channel, and also at 3 o'clock for our Spanish version. So we want to let you know we're going to be doing this continually up until the school starts. And so, but I do want to let you know that you can put your questions or your concerns or what you might like to ask us. We'll be glad to answer that. Also, if you want to get a copy of these guides, I really recommend that you get these and read them. They'll be putting a link right now into the chat box so that you can go right now and you can download these manuals, and you'll be able to look at everything we're doing. The other thing, as we get into this question and answer period, we also have FAQs right now that are online. I think we have close to 70 plus questions or maybe more that's come from you already over the last couple of weeks. And we've already answered those. The answers are in English and also in Spanish. So they'll be putting a link right now in the chat box, so you'll be able to get to that link, and all the questions you can have, more than likely we've already answered it, but we want to give you the opportunity to ask the questions you may have so that we can respond to you. So I'm going to turn it over right now to Mr. David Tequadle, who's our COO, and he's going to begin the question and answer time.
Okay, we have several questions. The first one is, when the 9 weeks are over, will they send us another survey to change virtual or face-to-face or vice versa before the 9 weeks are over?
I'll be glad to answer. Um, and so it's very individualized, right? It depends on your family situation. And so if it's working out well in regards to your schedule with your students, then you'll continue. It's just an expectation that you'll continue with the selection you made. If you have some challenges or there's a change in your work schedule, et cetera, that's when you can make a selection. But we're not going to, I don't believe we're going to have a uniform, like a blanket survey again, are we?
Yeah, let me address that. Right now, we really haven't decided how we're going to do that, but I believe the best way would be to go ahead and send out the link again and let you make your choices. But at the same time, we got to allow you some way to make that. But we'll further communicate that with you in the next couple of weeks to let you know what would be the best way to handle that.
And if I can add anything, I'm sure we're going to give some time, because we will need some time as well to adapt in case we have an increase of students in face-to-face or the other way. But
And that's exactly the reason that I mentioned that, just because once we have teachers in place, depending on your selection, we are working toward a consistency, but we definitely want to partner with you. And as Mr. Brandon says, we're going to give that opportunity to you if you want to change. We just need enough time to ensure there's teachers, if there's more face-to-face requests, that we have teachers that transition in. And so we'll be working closely with you and communicating that.
the next question is, what about the vaccine? Once it's ready, will it be required?
I don't think we have the authority to require your child to take a vaccine at this point. I know that for vaccines, there's some parents that do not believe it's in the best interest of their children. We are not going to impose that. And I'm not going to get into whether I believe that vaccines are critical, especially right now with everything to do with the COVID and all the infections and the things we're dealing with. I pray and hope very quickly we get a vaccine. And it does look like right now we're moving quickly toward that, and I'm going to be grateful when that happens. The other thing, we're talking about vaccines, I want to encourage you also, if your child, if a flu vaccine is appropriate for your child, or even for yourself, or for our staff, or whatever, I think it's going to be important this year to even pay closer attention to making sure we get our flu vaccines in a timely manner also.
Another question, can they wear glasses with a face shield? I'll say yes. I don't have a sample, and we'll bring a sample next time, but the face shields have at the top a thick foam part that allows some space, so I'm sure the glasses can fit there, and the reason for the foam is comfort. We're going to be asking people to wear this all day, and we were looking for different kinds, and this appears to be the most comfortable one. They have a thick part of foam and elastic in the back. So there were several models or options with little fasteners that we thought could be cumbersome or uncomfortable to wear. So what we have is what we found most comfortable, which is a long elastic band and foam in the front. So I believe the glasses will be able to fit in front of the shield. We have several questions about scheduling. At what time is the middle school getting out, 3 or 3:30? What will be the start end time for in-home classes? And also another one, I have a 4-year-old. Can I log in whenever I get back from work, or does someone need to log in with her? I think all of these are kind of
Let me just say one thing about that, and then you can get into more of the particulars. At this point, we're not changing our normal time when school begins or when school ends at this point. But the schedule, as far as whether it's face-to-face, that's what we're going to maintain and continue with. And I'll let Mrs. Rojas speak to any other.
And so that's correct. We want to provide consistency for students. Of course, if they are receiving at-home virtual instruction, we know that they need breaks. It's very important that They check in the mornings with their teachers, so they log in, and then they'll have assignments. There'll be some guided, mostly in the morning, guided instruction, and then some independent work. And so it's important that students are communicating with their teachers, they're following the lesson outlines, and we will be providing those schedules for you so you can see what a typical day looks like. If you recall, those of you back in the spring, when we first went into this pandemic era, we provided online for you to view per grade level expectations. What would a pre-K, a 3 child schedule look like that we recommend, and then pre-K 4 and so forth, depending on the grade level. And we know that it's very important that they are engaged with the learning, but also we don't want them to get fatigued and be in front of a Zoom meeting, or in front of a camera rather, consistently. So teachers will be touching base, there'll be activities. We want to make sure that those connections are there and that we can provide instruction that is appropriate when we think of age level appropriateness, developmental appropriate instruction, and continued instruction. And so in regards to you checking in the afternoons, it's something that, depending on you, of what you're needing questions, teachers are going to be asked that they have office hours or tutoring time so that they can have extension activities for students who are needing guided practice, small group instruction. And so it will depend on the level of which your child is progressing. And so you'll have opportunities to connect with your teachers.
These are some questions that we have answered before, but I'm going to repeat them. Will they be wearing uniforms for the students going into the classrooms in person?
Yeah, students will not be required to wear their uniforms for the first semester. We're doing that for many of the new parents so that you don't have to rush out, or for those parents, for instance, that are maybe doing at-home instruction. I know that many of you, financially, this has been a very difficult time. So we're trying to make a concession so that it'll allow your family to kind of adjust to this. If you have uniforms, and if you bought uniforms, or if you want to go and buy uniforms today and your child's going to be attending face-to-face instruction in September the 8th, then please wear them. We want you to. But also, we're not going to require that, because we do not want to put that burden on parents right now, especially for those that are going to be at home. We're not going to require your child to wear their uniforms at home at all.
Will we need to purchase all the face shields and masks? No. The school will be providing both. We will give you, again, 3 reusable masks for your kid to take home, so you can wash it at home and they can arrive at school with the mask. And we will keep the face shields in the classroom, so as soon as they get in the classroom, they'll put it on, and at the end of the day, they will leave it there. So we can also sanitize all of that with the rest of the classroom.
Yeah, David, let me add to that, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
We will provide your children with face shields and a face mask, and we'll make sure they have what they need. But if you have face masks that you're already using with your children, you have ones that they prefer, ones that they're used to, you're more than welcome to use those. We just ask that they don't have any type of advertising or any logos or any written message on them. They can be colorful. We have ordered, and there will be coming some branded masks that will have your child's the Eagles or the Lions from whichever campus they may, and y'all may want to purchase that for your child. We're going to make those available. They can wear those. But a lot of parents have also asked the question, well, how can my child wear a mask all day? Or how are they going to get adjusted to that? And I know that I have stopped many parents, whether it's been the grocery store or the car wash or wherever I've been, and they're sitting there or walking down the aisle, or they're sitting across the waiting room at the car wash. And I've had many conversations asking them how their children have been adjusting, because I'll see them with their mask on. So hopefully you've already begun to get your children accustomed to those. And but if for some reason they wanted to wear the mask that they've been wearing, sometimes children get really attached to things. We would allow that to happen, and there won't be any restriction on that.
If the student's already enrolled in school, do we have to fill out paperwork for school? No, they already enrolled, and to some of you, some parents, you may be receiving calls from the front office especially if we have not received the survey. Our offices are open, and some of our office desk personnel are making calls to make sure that you have received the survey and if you have responded or not. But you don't need to fill out paperwork if you were already enrolled last year. Any school supplies donations available? I know that the mayor has an event every year, but I don't know if...
Please let us know if you are needing assistance. Yes, there is usually a city-wide back-to-school fair that the mayor extends to all of the community. And what we can do is post it once we have more information for you.
Parents want confirmation, especially for face-to-face. They want to confirm that the schedule is still 8 a.m. to 3 or 3:30. I think that varies by grade level.
It does vary by grade level. As Mr. Brandon said, we have not changed the schedule from last year. And so it would be, you can count on a full day of instruction.
For online classes, do we still need to purchase school supplies from the list provided? Yes, that has been answered.
Yes, because the teachers will be asking students to utilize the supplies, and then also should you decide to send them to school, they'll have them ready.
Can we put their names on them to prevent them from getting switched around? I'm assuming this talks about masks and face shields, but we've talked about all supplies, but...
Well, I do want to add something about the supplies. Mm-hmm. We revised the supply list so that it's a bit different from last year. We know there are items on there that would not be relevant if students are receiving virtual at-home instruction. And so be sure to go onto the website and look at the supply list for this year, and it's by grade level.
Yeah, and just as far as whether you need to mark them or whether you need to identify them, what's going to happen if the children are coming face-to-face, their supplies are going to go into their bin. You're more than welcome to put your child's names on them because we are wanting to make sure this year we're not going to be throwing all the supplies into one big little hopper or whatever, and then the children just use what they need. They will have their own supplies. It will be separated and kept safely in a bin along with their face mask and also their face shields.
Another question, how are you handling students that are on 504 or special plans?
We are continuing to provide support, as always, for students who are receiving 504 services, for other diverse learners as well, such as English learners, any student receiving special services through identification. We will be following the IEPs and the LPAC recommendations. Teachers will, from day one, have the accommodations readily available and also modifications if that's what the student's individualized plan calls for.
We have questions about when our tablets and laptops will be ready for pickup. We have, and I don't know if this is already available, I know I have seen the BP one online, but for East Grand, there's a schedule that has been created, and you will be receiving it via text, email. All of our channels will be posting this information. We'll be on the website as well. Just FYI, EGP will be Tuesday, September 1st, and Wednesday, September 2nd. And there's lots of times per grade level to make sure that we don't have all of you here at the same time. Also for Buckner, I'm looking at my email because I know this was sent.
David, I have it handy.
Yep.
If you'd like for me to
Sure.
share. Mm-hmm. For Buckner students, starting on August 31st, pre-K4 and kinder may go and pick up their devices. On September the 1st, first and second graders. September the 2nd, third and fourth grade. On September the 3rd, it's makeup day, and also 9-4. In other words, if you could not make it on the days that are specified for your grade level, you could go on the 3rd or the 4th. We do have these posted on the Facebook sites for both Buckner and East Grand Preparatory, if you have access to that. And I believe also on Twitter or Instagram. And we will also have it on our website posted for you.
And if I can, that's the last question I have right now, but if I can add to that, it's very important for you to let us know when you change your phone number. this has happened for all the previous years, but right now communication is critical more than ever. And the school relies on you providing us with your recent, most updated contact information. We send text messages. We use a platform called Parent Square that also sends emails or text messages. Of course, you can follow us on social media. But if you think that you're not receiving a message, please call the office and make sure that we have your updated information, because otherwise there's no way for us. And we know that you may need to change the number, and it's very important for us to have your information.
One other thing I'd like to add, if your child attended summer school or the end of school and you did not get a chance to return the device, be sure to contact your school. Because your student, in order for them to be able to start school and to be able to, from day one, be involved with their instruction, they will need to use or have access to a device. And so, depending on the grade level, right? And so, we want to make sure that you have checked it back in. They will check it back out to you with the new information. So there's a change in the login. And so even if your child has a device at home, they would not be able to log in with last year's information.
Yeah, and let me give you just a little more information about what may or may not happen. You know, over the last several months, this situation we've been in, as you all know, has been very fluid. One day you hear one thing from the governor. The next day you hear the Dallas County Health Department saying something else. And I know that we've been making changes in our plans sometimes on a weekly basis based upon the feedback we get from the CDC, from the Dallas County Health Department, or from the Texas Education Agency. So even though right now we're planning to open September 8th for face-to-face instruction and also offer you at home virtual 2.0 instruction for your children, that could change between now and the 8th. And so I just want to let you know that as we're staying close to what's going on. We're trying to pay attention to what all of our parents are asking and saying, to what our staff's talking about, and what's happening in the community. And so we're continuing to get updates directly from the Dallas County Health Department and also the Dallas County commissioners. And so based upon all of that, we're going to continue to communicate with you through all of our channels. Just like what Mr. Taquato said, it's very critical we have your cell phone numbers. If it's changed, you know, even your emails are also a number is important for us. We can contact you that way. And then always remember all the different channels, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or whatever, there's ways that we can talk to you and give you an update about what's going on.
How will we know if the school received a request for our kids to go to school on September 8th? We have received almost 1,000 different responses on the survey, and you need to know that each one of these responses may include several siblings. And we're checking on a daily basis that all of the updates that we receive through the survey, and then our front desk people, personnel, are working all those rosters, checking who we had last year, making sure that we're not missing anyone, and they're making calls every day. They made close to 400 calls in the last 2 or 3 days. I know at least at EGP, and I know that at BP they're also working. I don't have the last number there, but we're checking on this list very, very carefully. If you have any hesitation, please call your school, and you can verify, because the person that will pick up the phone, those are the ladies that are working on those rosters, and they can confirm that information with you. What happens if we have kids in different grade levels? I'm assuming this is related to pickup of tablets and all that. I'll let Ms. Rojas talk about that, but we made sure we divided that to ensure proper distancing, but I'm sure they can make arrangements if somebody needs to pick up several grade levels.
Yes, absolutely. We designed it over the span of various hours, because thinking of for you not to have to wait in traffic or in line, right? And so even though they'll be distributed from 8 to 4, it depends on the grade level, because precisely we want to make sure that you have the opportunity to come in, get the device, and check out immediately. And so if you have more than one student, make sure to let your school know that you are there for your children, and they're over, they have various grade levels, so that we can help you in not having to make 3 or 4 trips that week or that, during that time.
Yeah, also, just let me give you a quick update. There are, right now, the tablets for our pre-K3 children. Right now, they're on order, and we believe that we believe right now they're not going to be here for the first week of school. And so once they do come in, we will be communicating back with you to make sure, because you can imagine every school in America, every state in America, every school district or charter school or private school right now is ordering literally millions of these devices. Fortunately, we begin to purchase ours early in the process, and because of that, I can happily say, other than our pre-K3 kids, we're going to have devices for everybody when you come to pick them up. But our pre-K3 devices may not be here on time, so I do want to let you know that.
Just a comment on the previous question. I just got confirmation. Every time you fill out the survey, you get an email, a confirmation email. So the survey, one of the questions is, please provide your email address, and the system uses that email address to send you a confirmation number and obviously a message saying that we received your response. So whatever email you use, please check. Sometimes these kind of things go into the junk box or spam folders. Check those. And again, if you really cannot find a confirmation and you're not sure, you want to make sure, you can call the front office. Will we know ahead of time who their assigned teachers will be, or will we wait for that Meet the Teacher virtual email?
Okay. I know they're working on the list as we speak. In meeting with principals yesterday, they are going classroom by classroom, class size, et cetera. What they did was at the end of last spring for returning students is that they were able to place them right in the following year with teachers. But because we're waiting also on the results from the survey to know which teachers will be coming in person, which ones will be virtual, and then in regards to class sizes. So you will be hearing from your campus, but during the back to Meet the Teacher, back to school Meet the Teacher, you probably saw these postings if you have been on Facebook for both campuses, Buckner and East Grand Preparatory. Meet the Teacher is on September the 3rd, it Buckner Preparatory, it's from 3 to 6 p.m., and each teacher will send a link to you, inviting you to attend the session that they're going to have live. So there'll be a Zoom meeting live for you to meet the teacher, your students to meet the teacher as well. At East Grand Preparatory, for pre-K 3 and 4, on September the 3rd, it's from 3 to 4 p.m. For K through 5th graders, it's from 4 to 5. And then 6th through 8th grade, it's from 5 to 6. And so that's how you will learn for sure of who the teacher is. You'll receive that invite from each teacher asking you to Zoom in and get to know them. And then they're also going to follow up with Flipgrid so that you can go in. If you don't have time, let's say, or your spouse doesn't have time to meet the teacher during those given time frames that we have for you, you'll be able to go back and access that information and a greeting from the school and the teacher at a later time.
After school is still happening, correct? Yes, we have talked to our partners on Alphabest, and they're ready to join us. You'll probably next week we will be receiving a link where you can enroll, and this is important. After the after-school program run by Alphabest, they're our partners. It's not run by us. It's run by Alphabet. They provide all of the personnel and the activities. In previous years, I know as a parent, it's easy to leave the enrollment at the last minute, and it's going to be this year very important for you to, as soon as you receive that information, and we will be announcing in this again. Everything will be done on all of our channels, including these sessions if we have the information ready for next week. But it's this year we need to make sure that we have the right number of kids there. And for us to make all those adjustments and plans, we need to know as soon as possible, as soon as we post that information, If you know that you're going to need childcare after school, please enroll your students so we can have an accurate count and we can plan accordingly. Could air purifiers be provided in the classrooms? I can tell you that amongst some of the plans that Mr. Brown has mentioned about cleaning, one of the things we're doing as well is we are revamping the whole program maintenance program with our air conditioning units. They're usually serviced at least 4 times a year. And we had a special servicing this summer, making sure that everything is ready for the beginning of school year. And we will be incrementing the how soon and how often we change our filters. And there are some meetings already with several. Tomorrow we have one more. We're talking to different companies to see what extra protection we can set up in our air conditioning units. And we're looking into options. I'm not sure if all of those will be feasible or cost effective, but we're trying to see what else can we do. And as Mr. Brown has said before, we're trying to do everything we can to ensure a safe
Yeah, let me add to that, Mr. Torquato. One of the things that a lot of people do not know about HVA systems or air conditioning heating systems, especially in commercial buildings like this and in schools, the Dallas City Code requires that those systems bring in a certain amount of outside air, which all of you have known and heard is critical. If you're able to open a window, it's better to go outside and meet with people than in a closed area. So what happens is outside air is constantly being refreshed throughout the whole facility, because when that air comes out of the air conditioning vents or the heating vents, then it also then gets drawn back in through the system, and then it's mixed in with outside air, which allows fresh air to go back into the classrooms. And so that's one way that I can assure you that it's safer, but we are looking at alternatives, how we can actually put devices that would actually go onto the actual blower units and how we could purify or clean that air. And so we're looking at that and trying to get that in place as quickly as possible.
Another question about scheduling. What is the pre-K virtual learning schedule?
So for pre-K3, because we won't have the devices from day one, but they will be coming in shortly, you will have access to a schedule, a suggested schedule of activities throughout the day. Teachers will still be contacting you so that you can ensure that your child is connected, is participating and engaged. So that's for pre-K3. Pre-K4 will receive a device, and there's going to be virtual instruction, some guided and some independent. And so part of the schedule will be for students to also have breaks in between. As I mentioned earlier, their learning span, right, needs breaks, and they need to also have activities. And so we're building in a schedule that is interactive, teacher-led at some parts of the day, during some parts of the day, and then independent work for students as well.
If uniforms are not required for in-person schooling and parents cannot financially afford the school uniforms or buying them new clothes, may the students wear the navy blue pants and just a white polo shirt, which is cheaper, or khaki pants with a blue shirt?
Yes, that would be a good choice. We have not yet got out what would not be allowed to be worn, and I know that the instructional team's working on that right now. But I mean, as far as what you have at home, you can have, or you can go to Target, or you can go to Walmart, or any other place that you can pick up some clothes. And then, you know, even the uniforms that we do require under a normal school year, we just changed our uniform company because we were very unhappy. A lot of you have had a really tough time getting serviced and trying to get uniforms. You can't hardly get into there. You have to wait in a long line, or they run out of stock. And so we've heard you talk about that, and we've talked with that other company for the last 2 or 3 years trying to get that resolved. They never could. And so we now are using Levine's in the Oak Cliff area of Dallas. There's a Levine's where we're now doing all of our uniforms. And their prices, if you look at what Target cost or what even Walmart might cost, their prices are not all that much different for a pair of jeans or slacks or a shirt for a student. But that's a decision that you'll have to make for yourself right now, whether or not the difference you want to pay that at this time. But we do want to just give you the option because we don't want to cause you any more burden than what you've already gone through all that's happened over these last few months.
I have two questions. What if we don't pre-register? And if our kids went to EGP last year, do we have to pre-register? I'm not sure what pre-register means here, but in case you missed the previous answer, if your students were enrolled in our schools last year, they don't have to do anything else. They'll automatically be placed in the following grade. What is the percentage of students going back to in-person school?
Right now, according to what we're hearing from our parents, it's about 30% want face-to-face instruction and about 70% want at-home instruction. About 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, it was about 50-50. And so over that time, over these last couple of months or so, many of the parents have now decided that they feel like it'll be safer for you to stay home with their children. And again, the reason we're letting you make that choice is because you know what's best for your children, you know what's best for your family. The next couple of minutes that we have left, I just want to remind you of some things that are very important. This Global Learning Community Guide. If you'll go online right now, and there has been a link that was put in the chat box in both of our channels, Facebook and our YouTube channels. This is a very important book for you to read. Some of the questions you may have, they'll be answered in here. It'll let you know everything about our face-to-face instruction. It'll let you know everything about what it's going to be like in our new at-home virtual 2.0 learning model. And it's very critical. If you take a look at that, it'll help you know more about that. Also, we have this Reopening School Employee Guide. This employee guide was created just with our employees in mind to let them know what are going to be our policies, what are going to be our procedures now that we have COVID and all the things that we're dealing with. Because we also wanted our employees to know that we're doing everything to make it safe for them. But I wanted our parents to be able to see what we're going to be requiring from our employees and also what's going to be happening behind the scenes here every day, whether you're at East Grand Preparatory or Buckner Preparatory School. Also, there's a FAQ that you can get right now online. It's in English and Spanish. There's a link in the chat box where you can get answers to over 70-something questions that we've already answered over the last couple of weeks from our parents that you've already sent in. I want to let you know we're very grateful that you've entrusted us with your children's instruction and also entrusted us with their lives, literally. Not only this year, it's even more critical. And we want you to know that we want you to have everything you need to make the best decision that you can. And I also want you to know that we're going to do everything we can to make sure that your children does not lose any time this year, that they move forward, and they're going to be as successful whether they're at home or whether they're here face-to-face at our school. So thank you for letting us come again into your living room or into your office or in your car or wherever you might be right now. And we want you to know that our offices at both schools, the campuses are open right now. You can call them during normal office hours, and they will help you. They'll answer any question you have. If you are a new parent and you've not yet returned all the forms that you need to get your child enrolled, it's critical that you get that turned in to our enrollment department so that your child will be able to attend this year. And then if you've already been attending the school, your child was here last year, there's really nothing more you have to do except just one thing. Make sure that you let us know what your decision is, whether it's going to be face-to-face instruction for your children or whether it's going to be at-home virtual 2.2 learning model, whichever you choose. Now, if you've already made that choice, you've already given it to us, please don't do it again. But I'll also give you one more chance. You got between now and next Monday, the 24th of August, if you want to change your mind, if after listening to some of the questions and things that we said today, you said, okay, well, I really think it'll be safer for my child to stay home, I'm going to change my mind, and they're not going to come face-to-face when we open school on the 8th. If that's you, all you have to do is go back and refill that form out, and you've got between now and the 24th, and we'll make sure your choice is clear so you'll be ready. We want to thank you for letting us be with you, and we look forward, we'll be here back with you again next week at 2 o'clock at the same time on our Facebook page and also our YouTube channel. Goodbye.